When you think about it, Thresh and Nasus have a lot in common. They're both huge dudes, and they like to build up their stacks. They're also both top laners. In the new glorious world of Season 14, good riddance mythics, Thresh gained some really nice toys to play with. No, not Bloodsong, but trust me, we'll get to that. Instead of that, let's start with an old friend named Titanic Hydra. Titanic Hydra is, as it's always been, a ball of AD and HP in no small amounts with some added wave clear. It doesn't hit as hard as it used to, but does have more AD and HP baseline compared to previously. This is because in previous seasons, Titanic was giving AD based on your HP, and now replaces that with just 20 extra AD straight up, which is honestly preferable when you're building it first. The most important thing about it is that it was reverted to its previous state from before Season 11, when it had an active effect to change your next auto attack into a bigger AoE cleave with more damage. Wonderful wave clear to improve on one of solo lane Thresh's largest downsides, which is his poor wave clear. Flaying a wave doesn't do enough damage on its own, and is an important defense tool for denying engages and kiting, so putting it on cooldown just for the minion wave is pretty dangerous. What's even more significant than this is that this auto attack enhancer active also resets your auto attack. With Thresh's main DPS coming from an on-hit, 1.5 magic damage per soul you've collected, being able to rapidly apply that for even just one more auto attack is nicer than you'd think. Combine that with how Titanic is providing high AD, and you're hitting hard in the early game with both physical and magical damage, and likely cheating an extra attack for that presty attack, you might be running up here in the top lane. The health is generally a great safety net against everything, so you don't just get eviscerated for being squishy and immobile. So why is this a thing now, and wasn't back in Season 10? Well, the old version of Titanic, though was as I've described it is now, was strictly melee only, and I hope they don't enforce that again when they find out you can use it on Jhin for the funny. As a result, our best, most consistent tank AD item from the past 3 seasons just got a fantastic upgrade that goes right with our current playstyle. And with all the great tank options of Season 14, it synergies perfectly together with them, such as our second item, Hullbreaker. The wave clear of Titanic and the split pushing nature of Hullbreaker is where we turn into a bit of a Nasus. The new Hullbreaker doesn't care if you're alone or not, and doesn't give you bonuses if you are, but is once again a wonderful ball of AD and HP with extra damage for any champions or turrets in your path. Promoting this playstyle of split pushing helps Thresh farm souls far faster and safer than he could have done before. What I used to consider a good game's worth of souls was 100 by 22 or 23 minutes, but with this build and playstyle, I'm consistently getting to 100 by 22 or 23 minutes regardless, often 21 nowadays actually. That's 150 on-hit damage on every auto attack you do, applying faster for any Titanic Hydra resets or with any attack speed you may gain. To put into perspective how good these souls are, Kael's on-hit damage at level 18 and max E is 35 plus 41 from the waves plus 20% AD and 45% AP. So with a Nasus, she's going to be doing 149.5 damage, basically 150 on-hit damage. Therefore, with just 100 souls, you're a level 18 Kael with a Nasus. Only with bad attack windup, bad attack range, no execution damage, no invulnerability, no move speed boost, but you have a sick hook! You can stack like a Nasus by just killing lots of minions and champions. Oh, and don't forget Void Grubs, those Void Mites drop souls is insane. You might lose a straight fight with an ulting Nasus for sure, but he's melee, kiteable, stinky, no hooks, and you're a cool skeleton. After Hullbreaker, your magic damage vulnerability is sure to show up, so you need to decide if you need any magic resist at all, or if you need to go kooky rookie. Kaenic Rukern is the biggest anti-mage item in the game with 80 whole magic resist and a huge shield to sponge up magic burst. Since otherwise you're terribly weak to magic burst and damage, when enemies have fed or multiple mages, you should almost definitely get this. The magic shield tends to counter things like Karthus and Teemo ultimates, so keep that in mind. On the lesser end, we have the new item Hollow Radiance, which is like a Sunfire but for magic resistance with more health but lower burn damage. Also has a nice wave clear effect for the playstyle, and in terms of cheap damagey tank, we have the classic Abyssal Mask to help you and your allies deal more magic damage. It might seem weird after all this AD, but remember, no matter what AD you build, Thresh will always be majority magic damage thanks to on hits, his AD ratio being magic damage, and his spells. Some other notable items I've tried are going to be a lot of the ones that build out of Tunneler, like Sundered Sky. Although I've seen recommendations for me to build this with Crit Thresh, that's just downgrading the crit damage, at least when they fix the item, and guaranteeing a crit is a lot better when you've built more AD and haven't invested in crit chance. So with the huge damage of Titanic and Hullbreaker, Sundered Sky tends to hit pretty hard. But generally, any tank items with a hint of Raidboss are going to be good. Riftmaker can even be an okay consideration as the sole source of Omnivamp in the game, but otherwise Blade of the Ruined King is as solid a choice as ever. Though if enemies have good amounts of resistances, bruisers, tanks, or all of the above, you should try and fit a Terminus into your build. It's the only source of hybrid penetration available with good stats on Thresh, even if you have to put a bit of work in. I have to admit I'm pushing out a build video pretty quickly, at least I would have done if I didn't fall so damn sick and could have voiced this script so much sooner. I've had to change things like the damage on Titanic because it got hotfix nerfed. So though I've had an absolute blast with it and can attest to how effective it can be, that's no guarantee you're going to actually win consistently with it or anything. I had a game where I got incredibly fed and the enemies just kited me while killing my team. That happened. Then again, I've had other games where I 1v9? I might keep that voice crack in. I might update this later if I make better discoveries or nerfed items happen. And of course there are so many more items and builds to try, so I hope you'll look forward to seeing what I cook up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if that's something you're excited for, as I promise to deliver on that front. Hey, did your subscribe button light up? How about smashing that like button? Hey, did that light up? Epic. I did a YouTube. It's worth mentioning I'm not touching ranked in the first few patches of a new season. I'm not daft, so therefore I am subject to normal matchmaking. And it's messy. Oh, it's messy. At the current moment I can't come up with too many conclusive things. It's just some amount of logical thinking, theory crafting, and inconsistent testing. So take none of these early guides as ranked guides, though I don't think you should take anything from this channel as a ranked guide. Instead, just consider if you'd play them for fun. Since, honestly, that's primarily what we all should be doing in this game anyway. We're constantly trying new things over on Twitch, but you can also find individual games over on my second channel linked in the description to see things in action. I can tell you I'll also be making AP Thresh guides, new one-shot AD Thresh guides, and heralding the return of my favourite casting build in videos soon. But let me know what item builds you've been making in Season 14 in the comments down below. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video, and wish you the best of luck on the Rift, and thank you for watching. Shoutouts to the members, AJBeat91, Warsquid, Ultimate Ground, Kaide, my dad, N-Era, Gentleman Zeta, Lunar Eagle 1996, 53rd Alabama Booty Obi-Wan Kenobi, AC Immortal, Mr. Noodle, and Bass1378. Thank you guys again for supporting the channel.